Multiple realities are progressing at the same time. It's a doozy. Never thought I'd actually see you again.
Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the worst of the worst anime that are genuinely difficult to sit through. Number 10, Listeners.
こんなとこに穴が開いてるなんて。あ、起きたんだ。気分はどう？
In a post-apocalyptic world where music is nowhere to be found, the young Echo Rek discovers the joy of a good beat when he finds an audio port in a girl. Yeah, that's right. He sticks an aux cord in the amnesiac moo, and no, that is not a dirty metaphor. It's the literal plot of the show. Oh, and there's also mechs. Don't ask us why. That implies there's a reason for anything that happens in Listeners. The characters love to spout off names of classical musical artists, but otherwise it's a boring nothing burger of an anime that squanders its potential beneath cringy jokes and nonsensical plotting.
興味あるの？落ち着け。ごめん。
Number 9, Handshakers.
夢なら覚めてほしい。
As more and more battle anime come out of the woodwork, it's becoming harder for anyone to stand out from the crowd. But forcing your leads to always hold hands? Is that really the best selling point Handshakers could come up with? If this were a comedy, or even a light-hearted isekai, it'd be funny, but it's not. It's awkward. Then again, the story doesn't matter when the visuals alone are enough to turn most people away. Studio Gohan's has a track record of turning in some of the ugliest anime around, and Handshakers' CG attacks are no exception. Trust us and stay far, far away from this one. Number 8, Try Nights. Whether you play basketball, volleyball, football, or something else, there's a great sports anime out there made just for you. Rugby players, on the other hand, well, they got Try Nights. It's a lifeless, stereotypical underdog story stuffed full of lifeless, stereotypical characters. And even worse, it's all topped off with some of the most abysmal animation to ever make it to public broadcast. There's no speed or impact to anything that happens on screen, which makes Try Nights utterly impossible to take seriously. Given the lackluster plots, we wouldn't blame the animators if they just cut their losses. So seriously, don't bother trying Try Nights. Number 7, Fooly Cooly Grunge, Progressive, and Alternative.
セブンティーン？はい。なんか絡まってるっつうか、もやっとしてんね。
The original Fooly Cooly is an untouchable classic, that much we can agree on, but instead of leaving good enough alone, Adult Swim just had to go and milk the brand for all it's worth. Out came 3 different sequel series, Progressive, Alternative, and Grunge. Somehow, each is worse than the last. Without even touching on the poor animation quality, the overblown storylines feel like they miss the intimate heart that put Fooly Cooly on the map in the first place. It's not just that they're disappointing, these cash grab sequels actively detract from the original's legacy. So if our choices are Sync or Adult Swim, we choose Sync every single time. Number 6, Lucifer and the Biscuit Hammer. Let's make one thing clear, Lucifer and the Biscuit Hammer is not a bad manga. It's actually a pretty damn good one, especially once it starts peeling back the dark layers of its messed up characters. It's unfortunate then that all the best parts of the series are stuck on the page. Somewhere in translation, the anime lost sight of its source material, instead doubling down on bad fanservice and cliche jokes. Lucifer and the Biscuit Hammer's poor adaptation hurts all the more because the manga readers know that, if it were in other hands, this show could have been great. Sadly, could have is as close to greatness as it will ever get.
あんなに地球は壊させへん。なぜならこの星を砕くのは私の拳やからじゃ。
Number 5. Ninja Kamui. Adult Swim strikes again. Instead of spitting on a beloved IP, they went for an original idea this time, but things didn't turn out much better anyways. Ninja Kamui's whole story is the same old tired revenge tale you've seen 1,000 times before in 1,000 better anime. Then, rather than doing anything new with its very familiar setup, the show throws a bunch of agonizingly boring fights at the screen and turns in for the day. It's an insipid, try-hard piece of fiction that feels like it only exists to cash in on the success of other, better action shows. Based on the negative reception, we'd say it epically failed. Number 4. Tesla Note. Saving the world with the long-lost artifacts of Nikola Tesla is some pretty serious work, so it's a real head-scratcher why Tesla Notes can't seem to go more than 60 seconds without cramming another lowbrow joke down your throats. Every engaging plot development is almost immediately shoved to the side in favor of more attempts at comedy. Although, given the truly awful 3D animation, there's a good chance Tesla Notes would have flopped even if it had been a straight drama. You'd think combining spy thrills, flashy action, and quirky characters would be a foolproof operation, but somehow, Tesla Note came out much less than the sum of its parts.
立場からのパワハラってやつですよね。まさか連続でハラスメントを受ける日が来るなんて。なんだよ、ムカつく。
Number 3. Uzumaki. The only entertaining part of Uzumaki is figuring out what the hell happened behind the scenes. Announced in 2019, the 4-episode miniseries faced delay after delay before finally hitting screens 5 years later in 2024. And after all that waiting, fans of the manga tuned in to see a PNG slideshow that barely qualifies as animation. While the first episode looked fine enough, the following 3 fell off a cliff. To say fans were disappointed would be the understatement of the century. It makes you wonder what in the world they were doing for 5 years, because clearly it wasn't working on Uzumaki.
笑うのも無理ないさ。実際に見ないとあの不気味さはわからない。
Number 2. Exam.
目がくらむほどの美人揃いだな。あれ、夏目。
Some shows are unwatchable because they're boring, others because they squander their potential, some are just flat out tasteless. But when we say X-Arm is unwatchable, we aren't even talking about its convoluted plot, misguided changes, or blatant fan service. No, it's unwatchable on a pure visual level.
とにかく一歩を踏み出すことだ。変わりたいと思ったならな。
The dizzying camera and atrocious 3D animation is more likely to make you sick than keep you entertained. There is no way to sugarcoat it, X-Arm is an indefensibly ugly show. It's such a monumental misfire that at this point, it's pretty much the face of bad CGI, if not anime as a whole. Fans of the manga, all we can say is, we're sorry. Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure to go into your settings and switch on notifications. Number 1. Rick and Morty, the anime.
Sorry, but I'm not your normal Rick, kid. And my Morty's already dead.
As it turns out, slapping the name of a popular show on a cheap spin-off anime does not automatically make it good, funny, or worthwhile. But really, we shouldn't be surprised considering this Rick and Morty offshoot was partly produced by, you guessed it, Adult Swim. Most of the show's issues can be summed up by the fact that none of the original cast reprised their roles for the English dub. That's right, they couldn't even get the current Rick and Morty back for Rick and Morty the anime. That's how little care went into the production, and you can see it reflected in every painfully unfunny corner of this disaster.
So you finally getting tired of being a pathetic sack of crap?
What's an anime everyone else seems to love but you can't stand? Let us know in those comments below.